Someone humiliates you in front of everyone. Your chest tightens. The heat rises. You're about to explode. But then nothing. You stand still. Now, imagine an arrow shot into the dark. It flies fast, slices through the air with fury, but almost never hits the target. That's how most of our impulses work. Fast, instinctive, loud, and almost always wrong. Have you felt that? Words escaping before the thought forms. That sharp reply, launched before you even notice, as if your mouth were wired to your pride, not your reason. We live in immediate times, where everything is stimulus, everything is urgency, everything demands a reaction. And yet, what we lose in that rush is control, inner command, clarity. Most of us live like gunpowder. It only takes a spark, a sideways glance, a misread message, a passing criticism, and we explode. Then gather the pieces: guilt, shame, regret. The Stoics saw this as weakness, proof that we're still ruled by external forces. They believed true power lies in choosing your response. Even in the face of provocation, you can't control the world, but you can control yourself, and that is enough. Today, you'll learn how to train your mind, not to react like a bomb, but to respond like a stone, steady, unshaken, untouchable. By the end of this video, you won't just be someone who doesn't get angry. You'll be someone who can't be touched. But a warning, this transformation doesn't come quickly. It doesn't come from quotes or easy advice. It comes from daily practice, from a philosophy that teaches you to become free. From the inside, the Stoics didn't want you to appear strong. They wanted you to be strong, not to impress others, but to no longer be ruled by them. Anger, wounded pride, impulsive reaction, these are invisible chains. Today, you'll learn how to break them, with wisdom, with presence, with discipline. Let's begin. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he was right. Most insults only hurt because we give them that power. An insult, on its own, holds no weight. It's just sound. Sharp, maybe, but empty until you decide to carry it. The truth is simple, though hard to swallow. No one can humiliate you without your permission. What hurts isn't what they said. It's the meaning you assign to it. Ask yourself this. Have you ever been hurt by the same words that once made you laugh? That's because pain lives in perception, not in the words themselves. The same insult can feel like nothing one day and unbearable the next. It all depends on your inner state. A stranger's opinion only cuts deep if it hits where you're already wounded. That's why Stoicism begins with a single question. Is this really about me? Most of the time, it isn't. People who lash out are usually revealing their own wounds. Frustration, envy, repressed anger. It's about them, not you. So what does the Stoic do? He observes, he breathes, and silently says, "This burden isn't mine." That simple shift disarms the attacker. But more importantly, it shields your mind. Picture an insult like an arrow fired at a stone wall. It shatters on impact, but only if the wall stands firm. Here's what few understand. Most reactions happen before thought even arrives. They're automatic, reflexive, almost biological. But Stoicism teaches us to insert space between stimulus and response, between what was said and what I choose to do with it. And in that space is where freedom begins. Consider this. If you react to everything that provokes you, you're telling the world anyone can control you. True power is choosing not to be offended, to pause, to breathe, to let it pass. In the end, every insult is an invitation to fight a battle that doesn't need to happen. And the wise man simply doesn't show up. When you learn to reframe the insult, it stops being an attack and becomes a mirror, a reflection of them, not of you. That's when you begin to become untouchable. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest philosophers in history, taught a simple but life-changing truth. Some things are up to us, others are not. That's it. Everything in your life can be sorted into two columns. What you can control and what you never will. What people say to you, not in your control. How they treat you, not in your control. The opinions they form about you, absolutely not your control. But what always remains yours? Your response. Every time you react to what you can't control, you abandon what you can. The mistake we make is spending our lives trying to control what we can't, while ignoring the one thing we can. You get upset by words, but forget you can choose not to react. You get frustrated by someone's actions, but forget you can walk away in silence. Freedom begins when you fully accept responsibility for what belongs to you and let go of everything else. The hardest part isn't understanding this. It's remembering in the heat of the moment, in the face of provocation, anger, tension, to remember that what's outside of you doesn't belong to you. You may feel the spark, but feeding the fire, that's a choice. Epictetus taught his students to prepare daily. He'd say, when you wake up, remind yourself, today you will meet people who are foolish, arrogant, ungrateful, not as pessimism, but as preparation. If you expect the test, you don't get surprised. And if you're not surprised, you don't get shaken. Picture your mind as a walled garden. Every provocation is a stone thrown over the wall. You can't stop the throw, but you can choose what gets in. The Stoic sees every conflict as a test, and the test is simple. Is this within my control? If yes, act with integrity. If not, let it go. Inner peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the ability to remain whole when chaos knocks at the door. That's real power. Not the power to change the world, but the power not to be changed by it. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and student of Stoicism, began each day with a quiet ritual. Simple, yet profoundly powerful. Today I will meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, arrogant, and envious. He didn't say this to become bitter, nor to expect the worst with a negative outlook. He said it so he wouldn't be surprised, so that no offense could catch him off guard. The Stoics called this practice negative visualization, imagining in advance the things that might unbalance you. Criticism, disrespect, rudeness. By mentally anticipating these moments, you rob them of their power. It's like training your mind with invisible weights. The more you rehearse, the less fragile you become. Think of the difference between someone expecting a perfect day and someone who knows they'll be tested. The first stumbles and breaks. The second stumbles and continues because they expected the storm. You can do this in 30 seconds every morning. Before stepping out, tell yourself, today someone will interrupt me, criticize me, try to provoke me, but I will not react. I will remain whole. That small forecast changes everything. You no longer walk into the world wearing the armor of illusion, but the shield of awareness. Preparation weakens the impact, and where there is no surprise, there is strength. The Stoics knew the world wouldn't change for them, so they change how they met the world. And that work begins inside, before the first word is spoken, before the first glare is thrown your way. The outer enemy becomes irrelevant when you've already overcome the inner one upon waking. But understand this, visualizing isn't resignation. It's not expecting everything to go wrong. It's acknowledging that the world will be what it is, and that you must be strong before it arrives. The Stoic isn't pessimistic. He is prepared. This practice removes your mind from the illusion of full control. You stop expecting others to treat you perfectly and start accepting that they will behave according to their nature, and that your peace cannot depend on that. Picture a sailor who's angry at the storm. He never understood the sea, but the one who expects strong winds sails with confidence. That's what negative visualization does. It removes the element of surprise. It takes away the world's power to destabilize you and reminds you every day that the real battlefield isn't out there. It's in your mind. Start with 1 minute as you wake. Close your eyes. Anticipate the criticism. Anticipate the delay. Anticipate the provocation. And picture yourself passing through all of it in silence. The Stoic wins before the battle, because the battle is fought within. Nothing frustrates a provocateur more than being ignored. It's like yelling into an abyss and hearing only your own echo. Most people who try to upset you want something from you. An explosion, a reaction, a slip in your composure. And the more you react, the more power you give them. You become predictable, controllable, manipulable. But when you respond with indifference, something breaks. Imagine a fire that needs oxygen. Cut the air off and it dies. That's how anger works. Without your reaction, it suffocates. This is one of the Stoics' most powerful tools. Silent presence, not as weakness, but as the ultimate sign of inner strength. You don't need to win the argument. You don't need to justify yourself. You don't need to prove superiority. You just need to not get pulled into their game. In practice, this requires more than control. It requires clarity. Clarity to see the attack for what it is. A trap. A tug to pull you into their arena. An invitation to lose yourself. And the Stoic doesn't attend the game. Picture two gladiators standing still. One yells, provokes, rages. The other watches, silent, still, unshaken. Power belongs to the one who does not move. Next time someone tries to provoke you, try this. Just look, breathe, walk away. Not because you're better, but because you're free. This is the Stoics' revenge. To not become what they're trying to make you. But a warning. Indifference is not coldness. It's not apathy. It's wisdom. It's the ability to separate what matters from what only makes noise. You still feel, but you choose not to act on impulse. You stay aware, but you refuse to strike back. Indifference, in Stoicism, isn't the absence of emotion. It's the silent triumph of reason over ego. And that kind of victory can only be won from within. No one wins a war without having trained in times of peace. The Stoic understood this, which is why his strength didn't come in the heat of conflict, but from the rituals that came before it. You want to become untouchable? Then you must train your thinking. Every day, even when nothing is testing you. Discipline is the foundation of serenity. Without it, you react. With it, you choose. And here's the truth. You don't need a monastery to build that strength. Just small practices, done with intention. Journaling, reflection, silence. Simple questions like, what pulled me out of balance today? How did I react? And how could I have responded instead? Writing is confrontation. What's vague becomes clear. What was impulse becomes choice. Picture ending the day in silence. A candle lit, or gazing out a window, and asking yourself, did someone hurt me today, or did I allow myself to be hurt? That kind of awareness, repeated, builds a shield. A space between what hits you and how you respond. And in that space lives freedom. The freedom not to retaliate. The freedom not to absorb. The freedom to walk away in peace. But there's more. Discipline is what carries you when everything collapses. It's what's left when emotions fail. It's the anchor when impulse screams. And you choose silence instead. You don't train for the days that go well. You train for the moment everything breaks, and you remain whole. The true Stoic doesn't act wisely only when it's easy. He acts wisely even when every part of him wants to explode. The Stoic mind isn't born whole. It's forged in repetition, in presence, in the quiet courage to examine yourself every day. Anger is a prison, but the Stoic holds the key. In this video, you've learned that insults only hurt if you allow them to. That control begins in what you choose not to control. That a prepared mind suffers less. That indifference is silent power. And that discipline is the invisible training of freedom. None of this is theory. None of this is just nice in words. This must be lived. On the street, in traffic, at work, in the middle of a hard conversation. In that exact second when something inside you says, strike back, prove yourself, let them feel it. And you choose the opposite. You choose not to be ruled. The world doesn't need to see your strength, but you need to feel it within. Now a challenge. For the next 7 days, every time someone tries to provoke you, criticize you, or pull you off center, respond with total calm, even if it's just silence, even if it's only a glance, even if all you do is walk away. Watch what happens to them, and more importantly, to you. At the end of the week, write about it, even if it's just one sentence, and see how much you've changed. The real victory isn't in winning the argument, it's in not needing it anymore. And if during these 7 days you slip, that's okay. The Stoic path doesn't require perfection. It only asks for awareness and the will to begin again. Because the true Stoic isn't the one who never falls, but the one who never stops training. Train today, rise tomorrow, walk the world untouchable. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs it. Like the video, subscribe for more Stoic reflections like this one, and keep walking the path, calm, present, and free. Will you rise, or will you repeat?